He says he thinks of me every time the BART train stops in the tunnel. That stillness, that momentum halted and left hanging so that the fluorescent lights become all at once blinding. He says he looks around and sees other people who are nervous just like I would be. He thinks of me when the BART train, for no apparent reason, stops in the tunnel before a stop. Anxious ears all eagerly listening for that low, high-pitched roar of the train picking itself up where it left off, gliding with ease into the station. It's not just tunnels, it's elevators as well. He doesn't think of me every time he steps into an elevator, but I do that thinking for myself enough. Great-grandmother in her retirement home, 10 flights up, and there I was, climbing each floor for every weekly visit. Holocaust tripped in high school, Polish hotel, floor 11, up the flights of stairs 3 times a day. He knows I don't like the closed spaces that won't let me out when I need to be let out, so he opens the door for me. You know, if you're one of those husbands who said they would leave their wife if she ever had an affair, you know I wouldn't stay with you. It's an afternoon in our kitchen. My eyes are dripping onto the table. I have a bowl of salted and roasted peanuts in front of me. He is drying the dishes with a bright pink kitchen towel that I know isn't clean enough to be used for wiping dishes, but I let it go this time. His eyes fall on me, ready to answer. Yes, I know. That's why you married me. He opens the cupboard and places a stack of porcelain dessert bowls on the shelf. His knees crack as he kneels down, and his smooth skin is revealed just below his waistline. His words comfort me, but also do this thing to my insides, this thing that I felt before but cannot link to a memory. He stands back and faces me, flinging the dish towel over his shoulder. Just don't tell me. That's all I ask. His words are simple, and I think of the tunnels and the elevators, and how he says he thinks of me when he finds himself in one of those BART cars, book in hand, lifting his eyes to see who is nervous like his wife would have been were she sitting here beside him. And I know his words are true. They fall onto our ugly brown linoleum floor one at a time, like small pebbles, making almost no sound and no dent, just falling one by one and finding their place after a short roll. Just don't tell me. When I was 17 and met him, he told me I was disabled. He told me that not stepping foot into an elevator because I was scared was the same thing as not being able to go down a flight of stairs in a wheelchair. So I took his hand and descended that one long flight into the basement of an art show he had taken me to. We were Tel Aviv hipsters without knowing the term, his hair combed back with grease and his boots pointy and worn. And once in, I didn't want to get out of that elevator. I wanted to sit myself comfortably in the smallest of spaces with him for eternity, to never have to search for a distant horizon and an open space again. I saw small patches of heaven in his green eyes. I married him. 17 years later, he tells me he thinks of me every time the BART train makes a sudden stop in the middle of a tunnel. He tells me that he thinks of how I would start turning pale, then bright red, how my palms would sweat, and I would get this look in my eyes like a beast in a cage ready to pounce and kill and destroy. 17 years later, we are sharing an afternoon hour in a San Francisco kitchen, oceans away from where our love first hatched. He's now done drying the dishes, but my eyes are still leaking at the thought of him, thinking of me forever in those dark tunnels, thinking of me sharing a ride with somebody else, a stranger, who might hold my hand and reassure me, once the elevator doors have finally opened, that there's always a way out.